So often my clients will be melting fat, minding their own business, and out of nowhere comes this mother called Plateau, causing them distress, frustration, and wondering what the hell it is that they're doing wrong. Hi, my name's Dan Davis, and in this video I'm going to explain why you'll sometimes hit a weight loss plateau and what the best strategies are to smash through your plateau. Now I'm going to start this video by stressing it's powerful to know plateaus will happen and your scale weight will fluctuate. And once you can wrap your head around that, not letting a number on the floor, i.e. the scale, dictate your happiness and mood for the day, you're winning half the battle. And if you actually manage to do that, then please let me know how. So in this video, I'm going to touch on the 7 and 9 plateau problems I've experienced with my own fat loss journey and my clients. But first, just a quick recap on how fat loss happens, and let's set some expectations. So fat loss happens when we eat less energy than our body burns. Energy in this instance being calories. So in simple, easy to understand terms, over time our fat cells shrink and we lose fat. Your scale weight will fluctuate and vary almost daily, and even more aggressively if you're a female, and this comes down to the menstrual cycle. I know it can be so bloody tempting to drop calories aggressively or even increase cardio after 3 to 4 days of no scale movement. But remember, the more fat and weight you lose, the more resilient and efficient your body becomes, making fat loss more difficult. Remember, we were simply put on this earth to survive, not to look good naked. And with that said, as you lose more fat, your brain doesn't know when your next feeding time is. Therefore, you'll sit around more and fidget less subconsciously. And this is your body's normal response telling you to chill out, preserve energy, and save it for survival and hunting. You see, our brains haven't quite evolved since prehistoric days, because with food widely available to us in this day and age, there's no need to go out and hunt and look for a, mammoth or something. And that's why fat loss gets harder over time and scale weight slows down as you lose more fat. And then pair what I've just said with the ever-expanding forms of transportation, where we don't even need to walk anymore and move around as much, and there's no wonder why losing fat is becoming more and more difficult. And that takes me nicely into expectations. So, aiming for a drop of anywhere between 1 to 2 pounds a week is absolutely awesome, and anything more is a bonus. But in a world of Amazon Prime and Deliveroo, where instant delivery is the norm, it's hard for a lot of people to understand weight and fat loss takes time. And they fail before even starting because they're expecting too much. And once again, understanding that this takes time is powerful in itself. So if you've been doing everything right, everything that books say, everything that the online forums say, everything that your Instagram model says, you've hit a plateau. Why does it happen? First, we have mindfulness. Now, I'm not going to give you a virtual blowy telling you everything's going to be okay and it's not your fault if you're using an app but you're not tracking all of your food. Or if, you've been eating well Monday to Friday but gorging on 10,000 calorie cheat days on weekends. Because if that's the case, it is 100% your fault. It's not your genetics. It's not your body type. Your body will still track food even if you don't. Take full responsibility and stop blaming other things. Secondly, we have inconsistent weighing time. Now actually, a part of me did think about leaving this out, but with so many of my clients falling for it, I thought I'd better cover it. So lots of people will weigh themselves in the evening one day and then in the morning the next. It just doesn't make sense. You're clearly going to be heavier in the PM after drinking and eating compared to in the morning after you've been sweating and sedentary, sleeping for 5 to 10 hours, or however long you sleep. Learn to be consistent with your daily weigh-ins, preferably weighing first thing, before eating and drinking, and after having a pee or a poo, if nature calls. At number 3, we have constipation. Now, I don't think I really need to go into too much detail here, but irregular bowel movements lead to the buildup of feces. Oh, that's such a fucking disgusting word. And with that, you'll be heavier compared to if you had regular bowel movements. I'll be honest, I can drop up to half a kilogram after my morning dump, so it goes to show bowel movements or no bowel movements can affect your scale weight. At number 4, we have previous day sodium or salt levels. Now, during my photo shoot prep, I went 3 weeks without dropping any weight, yet I was looking visibly leaner week by week. Turns out I'd bought a soy sauce that had lots of sodium or salt in it, and with that it was causing my body to retain water weight. With that said, I was heavier because my body was holding onto water, but it didn't mean I wasn't losing fat. Getting salt into your diet is important, so don't avoid salt just in order to get the scale weight to move. Just, be aware that if you ate something salty and your scale weight jumps up the next day, you now know why. At number 5, we have under and overestimating. So that class that claims you burned 1,000 calories, probably more like 300. That cake sample you tried at Costco, convinced it was only 100 calories, yeah, it was probably 300. If there's one thing us Homo sapiens aren't good at, it's estimating. So however you're logging your dietary intake, always overestimate food and underestimate energy expenditure to be on the safe side. Now you could argue that activity trackers are making it easier for us to log energy expenditure, but research has suggested that some fitness trackers, even really popular ones, have error rates up to 97%, so please be aware of this. And in at number 6 we have stress. So more stress means high levels of cortisol. Now cortisol is a hormone which has good and bad uses. The more stressed you are, your body will generally hold on to more water, therefore hindering your ability to lose fat and weight. And here we have an example of how my client, where highlighted in red, you can see he went almost a month without losing any weight. And this is the part where the majority would give up if they weren't working with a coach. So what I did is we had a heart-to-heart. He opened up to me and admitted that he was more stressed than usual. So I intervened, we addressed the issue, and highlighted in green is what happened next. So if you can, try to keep stress levels to a minimum. And in at number 7 we have metabolic adaptation. So as you lose more fat and weight, there's less of you to keep alive, meaning your body doesn't need as many calories to keep it alive and functioning. With that said, if you've gone 2 weeks and you've taken into consideration all of the factors that I just mentioned, and your weight hasn't budged, and your body composition has not changed, it may be time to reduce your calories slightly and or expend your energy by gradually increasing your daily movement through walking or cardio, or increase your number of gym sessions. And finally, if you've reduced your calories, waited 2 to 3 weeks, but nothing's happening, I'll elaborate on a theory I first read about on Lyle McDonald's website, and that is the whoosh effect and refeeds. So to quote Lyle, you'll be dieting and doing everything correctly with nothing to show for it. Then boom, almost overnight you drop 4 pounds and you look leaner. Women tend to have more problems with water retention, seem to have bigger issues with stalls and whooshes than men. Then Lyle goes on about experimenting with a refeed. So a refeed is when you purposely eat more, usually coming from carbs, making you look visibly leaner and lighter the following day. Lyle continues by stating, perhaps the hormonal effect, and I put this in bracket, tells the body to chill out and to release some water. So not only do refeeds seem to improve stubborn body fat mobilization the next day, they might help the body drop some water so that you can see what is happening. Now, I'm a big advocate of refeeds. I've used them well with myself and with my clients in the past with great success. So experiment with this and see if it works. Now, just as a side note, refeeds will usually work better for those who have already lost a significant amount of fat, and it'll be more prominent in leaner individuals. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, because not only does it stroke my ego, but it also boosts me up the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you can, because it makes me look cooler, and if you have any further questions, please let me know.